Do you know who your first hire should be? Do you know when you should first hire? Do you know what kind of company you want to build? These are all questions you're going to need answers to before you start deciding to scale up and bring on more people into your company. A lot of times when I'm helping other wholesalers, especially, they ask me, hey, John, I want to hire this person, or who should my first hire be? And I'm like, do you even know what you want your business to look like? Or they ask me, what market should I join? How many deals should I try to do a month before I start bringing on people? I also want to fix and flip. When should I get into that? So many questions get asked, but you should be asking yourself those questions. And this is how I believe you should start scaling your wholesale business. Or some of these methods apply and principles apply to any business. The first thing is intention. You have to have a vision for the business. If you don't have an intention, or you're not sure what you want your business to end up like, or why you're even getting into this business, it's going to be tough to be able to, one, paint the vision to anybody that you hire, or two, paint the vision to yourself. It's going to be like you're driving around in a car with no destination, and you have no idea when you should stop to see if you've even made it or which direction you're even going. So you need a vision for your business. Do you plan on starting a wholesale business? If so, okay, why? Maybe I want to build up enough cash so I could get into fix and flipping, or build up enough cash so I could start buying multifamily myself and not do syndications. Like, whatever it is, figure out what is your intention for your business, because then from there you could see, do I plan on building a big business, a small business, a medium-sized business? Do I want to have employees all over the place? Do I want to be in one market, 28 markets? You'll be able to understand and answer that when you have the intention and know what your business is going to look like, at least for now. And as you gain more skills and more knowledge, that vision might change a little bit. For me, I thought my business structure was going to look one way. The more I learned about business, the more I've learned about the company and what I want to build, and also about systems and processes, the more lean it got, the different positions I started to think about in my org chart. So I'm constantly updating my org chart the more I learn, right? And I have an org chart for current and a future org chart, because I have an idea of what I want the business to look like when I hit the certain milestone I want to hit, right? Or when I need each market to be self-managing, what I believe should be the 27 roles we need to have a self-managing full state market. So have the vision for your business. Once you have the vision, you're also going to have to know, like, what is the mission statement? What does your company stand for? What do I do? What are the values that are important? Because then you start defining the culture, and the culture is about the attitudes, right? You have a culture of winning and a culture of A players, or do you have a culture of mediocrity and, hey, we're just doing this for fun, not really trying to make money? Because your culture is going to attract the people that wind up coming onto your team. So you need to have your intention of the business, the kind of culture you want to create, the mission and the vision of the whole business. Now, again, that might change over time the more you learn, but the core theme, chances are, will not. So again, why are you doing what you're doing? So if you want to wholesale and you want to eventually get into fix and flips, now it's going to come to the second thing for wholesaling specifically, is what is my market? Or where do I want to be in? Do I want to be in Florida, Texas, Georgia, North Carolina? Well, that depends. What is your intention? Why are you wholesaling? If you want to do fix and flips in North Carolina, you're not going to start wholesaling in Florida. If you want to buy multifamily in North Carolina, you're not going to start wholesaling in a different state. You're going to wholesale in the state at first to where you want to do your investments if you plan on investing. If you don't plan on doing anything in those states, or you plan to get into multiple states beforehand, then to be honest with you, go with the one that you really feel you have a more of a stronger gut feeling towards. For me, like, I was in Jersey and Florida at first, right? And I felt more of a pull towards Florida. I found myself more enjoying talking to people in Florida, doing deals in Florida. And I decided to just drop Jersey and just do Florida because I genuinely enjoyed Florida more. So which market do you want to kind of have a better idea on, connect with and do deals with in the beginning, if you don't have a plan to buy and hold in a specific state, right? The other thing too is, like, I knew I was never going to really do anything in Jersey. Florida, we're already doing new construction. I do plan on owning stuff in Florida. So, like, again, if I have any future idea of maybe owning something, if it's not the main intention, but there's an idea about it, I'll start wholesaling in a market that I will eventually would want to invest in. And the next is your focus. So you have your intention, right? I know where I'm going, what I want to do, the plan I have. I know what market I'm starting in wholesaling. Now, what is my focus? And by focus, I mean, what is my method? Far too often I see people trying to do, I'm doing micro flips, I'm doing JV deals, I'm a dispositions heavy, I'm going direct to agent, direct to seller, I'm doing outbound and inbound. All that stuff in the beginning should just be off your plate. The first thing you should decide to do is, am I going direct to agent? Am I going direct to seller? Or am I going to try to build up a dispositions house and just do co-wholesales? decide on that, because it's going to be very crucial to focus on one of those areas. I would not recommend doing all three of them. So if you decide to get into agent outreach, right? Am I pulling MLS? Am I just calling and making a bunch of offers? Am I cold calling a bunch of realtors? Right? Pick one of those. Remember, get hyper focused and get really good. Now, during this time period, if you focus on acquisitions, for instance, if you try to go direct to seller, I would focus on outbound first. If I do not know how to make calls and I do not know how to close people, do not try to go to inbound. It's going to be a very, very expensive learning lesson. And you're going to find out that you're not that good. And you're going to basically pay $5,000, $10,000 a month to find out that I'm not good on the phone. Cold call, pull a list, do the hard stuff first to understand and get good at those skills, because you'll also need those to train people. So pick your one focus and get really good at that, right? If I'm just going to do acquisitions and direct to agent, I'm going to get really good at talking to agents, really good at finding agents, understanding which makes a quality agent from a non-quality agent, and how to find them and offer, negotiate, all that stuff. And I'm going to do all that stuff myself first before I even think about hiring anybody. Also, in that time period, I'm not going to build my buyers list. Contrary to the popular belief, having a buyers list with no leads is just a list of names that you're not going to utilize. You're going to have to call those people anyway, again, because they will not remember you if you don't sell them any deals. I call Bob, the buyer, and I'm like, hey, Bob, what are you buying? Beautiful. Oh, do you have any deals for me? No, not yet. 4 months later, I have a deal. I send it to Bob. He was like, who is this? Or he doesn't even answer the phone. So if you're going to focus on acquisitions, do not worry about building your buyers list. Build your dispo wholesaler list first. Connect with like 3 to 4 solid disposition wholesalers that could sell your deals for you while you focus on gaining momentum on the acquisition side. So you really want to get really good at the one area. And then as you start doing some deals consistently, you start looking at, okay, what are the activities that I'm doing? You do like an activity inventory. All the activities you're doing, put $1 amount by the task. If you see you're doing a lot of admin tasks, which you definitely are in the beginning, you got to realize that's not making me money. Let me delegate that first. Let me teach somebody how to do this. Usually it's going to be a virtual assistant. So, hey, they're going to start pulling the list for me. They're going to start importing everything to the CRM for me. They're going to do all of the admin tasks that are not really making the company money. They're necessary, but they're not revenue generating activities. So now I'm going to come up with all the tasks that I want that person to do. And I'm going to make sure I have documentation, because by this time, for me doing it a lot and for me getting consistency and getting deals and momentum, I definitely have a process in place at this point. So now I'll put together the documentation of that process, and I'll make sure I have some videos of myself doing it and talking it through. So this is my training materials. Now, when I bring that person on, they have their task list. This is what you're in charge of. This is what you have to do. This is what success looks like in this role. Here are the SOPs written, and here are videos of me doing it. You have them watch through all of that stuff. And this goes with any role, right? Any role, whether it's admin or sales or anything. You have them go through the document, what you're doing. And then after they watch all that stuff, have them write down any questions so you can answer them. And you're meeting with these people, and I'll go over more of this in our onboarding video, how we onboard, but you're going to meet with these people basically every day for the first 4 weeks or the first 3 weeks. You're going to make sure that you don't abdicate, which is just giving them the task and forgetting about it. You're going to delegate, where you tell them the task, show them success, and make sure that you are shadowing and they're shadowing you. So now you've got your focus, right? You've got your documentation. Once you have your process, then you start to delegate out the revenue generating things to buy back your time. At this point, you know what success looks like. So you bring on a salesperson, you know how many calls they need to make, how many dials, how many offers to contract, all that stuff. And now when they have questions, you could teach them. In the beginning, if you just decide, hey, I don't like calling, I'm going to hire a caller. Okay, let me ask you this. If that caller has questions, will you be able to answer them? Or will you be able to guide them to the right answer or an answer? No? That's right, because if you don't do it yourself, you will not figure out how to do it. And you can't help somebody learn how to do it if you don't even know how to do it yet either. So do the stuff that sucks in the beginning. Learn how to do that. Come up with the process so you can then teach and delegate out. And when you're the leader and when you're the owner of the business, all questions come back to you in the beginning, right? Eventually you start hiring out your management team, your C-suite team, all that stuff. But in the beginning, it all comes back to you. So if you don't know how to answer a question or how to lead somebody to get to that answer, then what do you think is going to happen when you hire somebody and you have zero experience in that position? Unless you're paying them heavy salary or giving them some equity and they're in charge of that, it's not going to work out. And in the beginning, you're not going to have the salary. You're not going to have the money to be able to hire that person anyway. So when you're scaling your business, right? Know what you want it to look like, but don't be in a rush to scale. You have to go slow. You have to develop the process, develop the skills along the way. You have to develop sales skills. You have to develop comping skills to understand the deals, right? You have to know how to onboard and hire people. You have to understand what talent looks like. And that all takes time. Don't try to scale your business up in 6 months unless you've had experience doing that, because then you already have the skills. But chances are in the beginning, you don't have those skills. So you have to learn those yourself. Come up with the process, know what it looks like. What does success look like in this role? If you don't know that answer before you decide to hire somebody, then you best be doing the work to figure out that answer. Get that, come up with the process so you could show people how to do that specific role. The other thing is mindset plays a big role in scaling, in leading people, in team, in business. Your beliefs dictate your behaviors. If you have beliefs that it's not going to work out, you think you're going to take the behaviors to make it work out, no shot. You have to believe wholeheartedly that this is going to work and you're going to find the solution to whatever the problem is, and enjoy the adversity. Adversity comes every step of the way. You need to go through adverse times. You need to go through situations that just feel super chaotic, but you need to be able to get through those and always believe in yourself and your abilities. If you don't know it, you know you're going to figure it out, or you're going to find somebody that does know how to do it and learn from that person. If you have a mindset where you just think, I'm going to get caved once I hit adversity, or woe is me, it doesn't, nothing goes my way. You think you're going to do anything to change your situation? No, you're going to accept it as it is and just move forward and to something different. And it's not going to be built in the business. So make sure you work on your mindset and your belief system. Like, do I believe in myself, my abilities? Do I believe that I could always get better and grow? Am I actively working on that each day? Reflect on yourself and your growth. You want to be growing every day and develop the skills you need to be a high producing operator, business owner, leader. And you don't want to allow the negative limiting beliefs to hold you back and not allow you to take the action. Because when you believe it's going to work out, you'll see everything as an opportunity to grow. But when you believe it's not, you're going to see it all as an obstacle to not grow. So you got to see, am I seeing opportunities or obstacles? I'll tell you right now, to get to success, each step to get to the top of the staircase, that's an adverse situation. You have to go through all this adversity, make all those mistakes, quote unquote, fail in order to succeed. Because those told you what not to do. And from learning what not to do, you also get one step closer to learning what to do in order to accomplish that goal. Be very focused. If you're building a wholesale business, do not start building your multifamily business. Do not start building your development business. Do not build a VA company. So many people go to the shiny objects, they get bored in the thing they're doing that's working, and they try to pivot to something else. But now you're splitting your time and your focus onto two different tasks, and they're both not going to be great. They're probably going to be mediocre. They're definitely going to be mediocre. So focus on the one main thing until you have it delegated out to where you're not operating on the day-to-day, and then you could start focusing your time. You've bought back your time from focusing on that one business by building it up, maybe 4 years, 5 years down the road. And then you can start taking on all these other avenues, right? You can start diversifying your income stream. But in the meantime, in the beginning, your business is your main focus. All the problems you're trying to solve, all those strategic ideas are coming on to this specific business. So have that focus. The focus on the business, the focus on your market if you're in one, and the focus on your method in the beginning. Do not think about scaling and hiring all these people yet. Perfect your systems, perfect your process right now, and then work on onboarding your people. So when you're doing your outreach, like, you want to master one method first. I'm not going to try to do PPC, PPL, cold calling, Google ads, all that stuff. No, if I'm going to go direct to seller, I'm going to focus on just outbound acquisitions, get really good at that until I delegate that out. Then I can spend my time focusing on really good at PPC, right? But I also need money to come in to be able to pay for the inbound. Same thing with agents. I'm not going to go from agent outreach to direct to seller if I haven't perfected direct to agent and delegated out direct to agent. Because now, again, those are two different marketing channels that I'm split testing. It's all about focus in the beginning. The other thing too is, like, as you're growing, as I said before, you're going to learn new things. Some ideas may change. Be fluid with your goals. Be fluid with your idea of what your business should look. You might have a vision for your business 3 years ago, what you want it to look like in 10. And then all of a sudden, 3 years later, you've learned so much, you've grew so much, your mind is expanded. And now you realize, you know what, actually, there's a different way I want to go about it. This is what I want to do. This is my new vision. Be fluid with your goals. Don't constantly change them. But like, when you learn something, don't be rigid and think that whatever I believe today, I'm going to believe on Wednesday, even though I might have learned something new on Monday and Tuesday. That rigidity is death. You want to be fluid, right? You want to be constantly expanding and open to new ideas. Don't be closed off. So if you decide, hey, maybe my vision might be different, don't feel guilty about it. Figure out why you think it's different. What have you learned? What other things have you done, or who did you learn from, to where maybe you might want to do a slight change in your vision. And if you have an idea of what you think the corporate structure should look like, again, the more you learn, don't try to fit the mold. Don't try to just say, hey, this is the vision I had, this is the mold that I made, this is how it's going to fit. No, we restructured our organization chart at EasyRes 2-3 different times. The more we learn, now we have where we think is a good blueprint for each market to be successfully delegated out all the way up to the GM level of 27 roles we think we need. But hey, I might learn something 2 months from now and I realize we actually only need 20 roles. Be fluid, like I said.